Welcome to Healing Shame episode 3. Now, I've no idea what title it has given me at the top of this page because, okay, so I managed to fix the problems with the Wi-Fi and I managed to fix the problem from my phone because it was all shaky. I've just gone to type Healing Shame part 3 and it's typed it backwards. Seriously, my energy is all over the place. Anyway, part 2, episode 2 of Healing Shame, I was talking about finding balance. So when you get to the point of awareness that you know what it is that you shame around, cannot do that from a high emotion. So when you're feeling those low vibrations ramped up, you need to be able to find yourself in a state of balance. And I shared lots of tips. I'm going to re-record episode 2 because of the kind of shaky video look. It's not a good look for people that are watching on replay. So I will record that again. But I was reminded yesterday when I had my Soulful Walking and Talking group of the power, the absolute power of putting yourself back in nature. It's incredible. It just helps you to ground. It was amazing. So I came back from spending the afternoon on Hampstead Heath and the Wi-Fi problem had completely resolved and the problem with the video had fixed itself. Not what writing's all about. I'm hoping that it looks okay on the other end. Anyway, episode 3 of Healing Shame is all about the power of stories. And before I get into it anymore, I wanted to share a piece from my book. I'm not sure if you have read my book, Monsters Under My Bed. I'm just going to take those notes off there. Monsters Under My Bed, Recovering from Childhood Trauma. This was a book that I was guided to write last year. Most of it was channeled writing. I knowingly at the time to my higher self, and she enabled me to get the words out. So the first chapter in the book is actually all about shame because I think that was such a predominant emotion that I had ignored over the years. So I'm just going to read part of the chapter to you and also share some of the reflections from shame. So here goes, shame. I've known Jane for so many years now, perhaps since she was a baby. So shame is telling my story, just so that you're clear about that. But she kept me hidden under the bed, didn't want to acknowledge my existence. It wasn't just me. We were all ignored back then, all of us abandoned and neglected. We'd find our own way of having fun and getting noticed, like making Jane wet the bed most nights until she was a teenager. That was hilarious. Yeah, I know, a bit mean, but save your judgments. So maybe it wasn't the most sensitive thing to do. I wanted to grab her attention. I wanted her to notice that there was something not right with this, with what was going on with her dad. But she never did. Sometimes all of us would work together to get Jane's attention. Me, Anne, fear, sadness, guilt. I think with all of us coming out at once, she'd look under her bed and say, "Hey guys, what's going on? What do you want?" We were so hopeful in 1990 when she started remembering the bad stuff that her dad did. We thought, yay, now's our chance to come out and be heard and seen. It was December 1990. Jane was 25 years old and pregnant with her second child, and her whole life was about to blow up. She can no longer deny the images that keep coming into her mind. No longer pretend that these flashes of images are part of her imagination. Her sibling has just confirmed what she has always known to be true, but wanted to keep denying because the truth meant acknowledging my existence and that her whole life was a lie, a fabrication, and a complete farce. And once the truth has been acknowledged, there's no stopping the flashbacks. They come thick and fast. And once the truth has been acknowledged, sorry, I've just repeated that one. She's disgusted with what she sees, disgusted with herself, confused, raw, terrified of what all of this will mean. But hey, at least I'm starting to get a look in now. She seeks support from a counsellor. That's what you do when you need to figure stuff out, isn't it? But we want to know exactly how counselling works. What are her qualifications? What's the evidence that talking about our painful childhood way? So many questions and so many blank stares in return. And why? Why is that important for you to know that? The counsellor responded. I'm curious to know where this desire to know the answer to these questions are coming from. Was she incapable of answering a direct question? And we are both starting to get a little bit pissed off and angry with the white middle-class grey-haired lady who sits across from us with this smug fucking look on her face like she's just farted and got away with it. Just tell me how it works. How does talking about my past make me feel any better? Jane asked warily. Because it just does. We still weren't convinced, but we go along with it because we're reminded that our options are limited. We can't go to the doctors. What if they take Jane's children away from her? So we show up each week, we talk about stuff. The counsellor nods and occasionally makes a noise to let us know she's listening. Jane cries a lot. Time's up. We walk out. We both feel shit. Jane gets on with life. I crawl back under the bed. We still feel like shit. We go back. We don't want to keep repeating ourselves over and over. We sit there in silence, awkward, not knowing what to say. We hear the sound of the ticking clock. We hate that fucking clock. Jane doesn't know where to look. I don't know what to say, she says. The counsellor replies. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes. I'm with you in your silence, she says. What the fuck does that mean? We're fucking silent because we have nothing to say. And after 6 weeks, we still feel like shit. And this really isn't helping. And we're sick of sitting here, just looking at your smug face, nodding and giving us the odd, And Jane's paying you for this bullshit? Of course, Jane says nothing, but gives a plastic smile in return. And the time keeps ticking by until the hour is up. And finally, she opens her mouth to speak. Same time next week? Sure, Jane says, when in her head I'm screaming, not fucking like you wrinkled, stuck-up middle-class spinster. She smiles politely and leaves, never to return again. She tried, she really did. But I guess it was just too much for her. When I finally came out from under the bed again, I went all in, no pussyfooting around this time. And then the chapter talks about my psychotic breakdown, but I don't want to share all of that right now. But I thought what would be important, or what would be useful, is to share some of the reflections from shame. It wasn't until we started to write this book that the penny finally dropped. For years, she was left with the question, why now? Why choose that moment in her life to fall apart? Looking back on the sequence of events, it's a bit obvious. Her marriage had fallen apart. Her ex-husband found a new partner who he later married. The kids loved their new mummy. Her human felt redundant, unwanted, surplus to requirements. We all just wanted to get some attention, some for our existence. Jane's soul just wanted to be reborn. She hadn't been paying enough attention to its calling, and a bit like us, the monsters under her bed, it needed to do something dramatic to wake her up. This was her rock bottom, her pivotal moment, her awakening, and the hard work was only just beginning. Over the next decade and a half, I would constantly be getting under Jane's skin, pushing her to acknowledge me, to understand my role in her life, gently guiding her, or maybe not so gently, to release the different parts of me. I only wanted what was best for her. And okay, what was best for me too. After all, I didn't want to be stuck under the bed forever. I wanted to be out having fun in the wilderness with all the other monsters that had been set free. So that was just a short extract from Shame. So this is the book, Monsters Under My Bed, Recovering from Childhood Trauma. So you can get it on Amazon everywhere. I'm pretty sure Tanya got hers from Amazon. So the power of sharing our stories around shame. Not only does it help us to go through that process of gaining deeper understanding and healing for ourselves, but it also enables other people to heal in the receiving of your story. And then that has this other knock-on effect that makes you feel that, well, maybe, you know, all of that shit that I went through was for a reason, for a purpose, because I have to be the one to share my journey so that others don't feel isolated and lonely, and it gives them hope and it gives them healing. But what happens in that process of you writing your story, and whether or not you choose to share it publicly in a book or whether you choose to share it on social media, but what happens in that process of writing is that you can come to that deeper understanding of that shame has played in your life, and it helps you to release some of that stored vibration along with the transitional vibration. And episode 2, was it episode 2 or episode 1? I can't remember. One of the days, sorry, I was talking about the difference between stored and transitional vibration. The stored vibration is the parts that are in your subconscious mind. And in order to fully release shame, we need to know what is in our subconscious mind in order to be able to release it. Now, that's the problem with the subconscious, because our memories are hidden from our conscious mind. Because let's face it, you go about life, you get to my age or even younger, you have so many interactions day in, day out. If all of those memories were stored in the conscious part of your brain, it would blow your mind. So your subconscious acts as like a filing system, keeps things stored away, and when you have and it files things in sections that have a familiar experience, so that when you encounter something in your current life, your subconscious can say, oh yes, let's trigger the feelings and the emotions of when it happened X, Y, and Z years ago, so that it can help you to know how to respond in the present. The problem is, most of our patterns are formed in childhood, and what served us as children does. So we need to dig deep, and we need to uncover what's in the subconscious mind in order to release it from our stored vibration. But it doesn't have to be traumatic. The process of digging deep doesn't need to re-traumatize you, and it doesn't need to cause more pain. Now, there are really good therapies that can assist you in doing this, through hypnotherapy or emotional freedom technique. And in fact, emotional freedom technique was the first thing that I qualified in. But even so, with those treatments, they're still sometimes not getting to the real root and the real stored vibration. So we need a bit of help to do that. And we can call upon the help of our higher self. Now, our higher selves are the non-physical part of us that has been with us since our conception. And our higher self has access to all of our memories. It has seen, heard, felt everything that we have been through. But our higher self has also had many lives prior to this life as well. And so when we connect to our higher self, we can connect to the wisdom that comes from living thousands of lives. Now, your higher self has always been communicating with you. You just haven't been consciously aware of it. But those times when you feel really strongly guided to do something, those times when that gut instinct is so strong, those times when you just instinctively know what to do in a situation, that's your higher self that has been guiding you. And you may already be tuning into your higher self, but calling it source energy or the universe. When we choose to connect to our higher selves, they can take us to situations from our past that need releasing in a really amazing way, and release it from our stored vibration forever. It's not a quick fix. It does take time. But the good news is that you don't need any special spiritual abilities in order to do this. You don't need to be gifted to do this. You don't need to go on any courses. Your higher self is a vibrational energetic match for you, so that you don't need protection when you're tuning into your higher self. Your higher self loves you unconditionally and will only ever send you messages that are supportive and loving. The only time you need to be wary is if your vibration is so low, you can start mistranslating the messages that are coming through from your higher self. So this all takes a bit of practice, and it's not something that you can learn just like that, but it is something that you can practice for yourself every single day. You don't need someone else teaching you how to do it. You don't need anything. You just need to set that intention that I'm going to tune into my higher self and receive the guidance that they want to bring me. So that is all I want to say, I think, for episode 3, is in to your higher self. Ask them what it is that you need releasing around shame. Ask them to show you, and then ask them to help you come to a deeper understanding so that you can release it and reframe it into a new understanding. So my invitation for you today is to book a 30-minute call with me, and I'll drop the link in the comments box when the in fact, I can probably do that now. Let me copy that, and here we go. Okay, so the link to book a 30-minute call with me is in the comments now. So book a call. There is absolutely no obligation to continue to work with me afterwards, but what I am feeling guided to do is to help you connect to your higher self, to have a look at what really needs releasing around shame for you, so that you feel like you can use this tool for yourself. So I'll take you through a guided practice that you can then use time and time again to tune in to your higher self. And then if you decide that actually I want to do more work on this, we can discuss how I can support you through the process. So I hope you found these 3 episodes to be useful. If you have any further questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments box. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.